Okay, thank you. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. To start off with today, there is a question that was asked recently about this lady here who has been coming to our Chan class here at Way Mountain Temple. And I think she started with sitting in full lotus already for about maybe half an hour, 20 minutes to 40 minutes, something like that. And so she was encouraged to try to sit longer in full lotus. So, our specialist for long sits, Master Xian Shun, I think we should use master, right? Mistress doesn't sound right. Anyone? Any English majors or people in the know can verify for me? Is it okay to use master like they use actor instead of actress nowadays? Okay, think about it. So Master Xian Shun, our specialist for long sits, she has a track record of helping a lot of people sit longer and longer over the years. It started with several years ago at Lu Mountain Temple, our first way place, and she not particularly very eloquent of a teacher, but she somehow manages to help people break through with the long sits. And what's remarkable is, like several years ago, she helped one of my early disciples, a lady who is in her 80s, 70s when she started, and by the time she left, she was in her 80s. The lady was in her 70s, and she reached her third stage Arhat, and XS helped her sit longer. And because this lady didn't believe in long sits. Okay. But she managed to reach third stage Arhat anyway. Used to be my sidekick. And so XS helped her break through and made it to fourth stage Arhat. Okay, so that's when I noticed that Xian Shun was able to help people go for longer sits. This is a magic. You sit longer and magical things happen. So by encouraging this older lady to sit longer, she broke through as well. Okay, so just for your information, we have such resources where we have a specialist in-house specialist who can help you sit longer, should that be your end goal. Okay. Anyway, so this lady here has been coming for months now, and she's finally was able to break through and sat for 2 hours. And when after she broke through and sat for 2 hours for the first time, let me check my email here and see what's the problem. Maybe it's gone already. Okay. So when she and again, when this problem here is that after 2 hours sits, she felt so sleepy and tired, had to sleep to recover. So what happened? Okay, so my disciples, various disciples, couldn't quite give her the proper answer. So I ask you now, all of you, to pitch in and help explain why. Yes, number 6.
You said she was sleepy after she sat for 2 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
Happened to you too?
Yeah.
Sleepy and tired?
Yeah.
Yes, 2 people. See, that's what happened. You have a shared database here that we should make available to others. Yes, continue. Please continue.
I asked you one time, I said, why am I really tired after I leave the temple? You said, because it's like you're cleaning really hard, you're scrubbing, you're getting in there, a lot of your toxins come out, and that's why you get tired.
Okay, and sir, the other gentleman, what's your experience? 8.
Well, the same. I get tired and I feel like I'm physically fatigued, not so much mentally fatigued, but I can just feel that I've been active and I would rather sit and rest right now.
Okay, so you're tired, exhausted, so you had to spend time to recover. And then what happened? You didn't even bother asking? You weren't even worried? You know?
No, it's not a factor. I mean, it's like physically, say you ran a half a mile and you weren't used to it.
Yeah,
and then you come home and rest. And
lifting weight and going for the record. Of course, you're gonna get exhausted.
And you recuperate rather quickly. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so you recuperated very rapidly. How about you, young man? Did you recuperate at all, or you just never could recover?
After I went to temple this weekend, I was really tired for like 2 days.
No problem?
Well, I'm always tired after I go to temple. I always, like Saturdays and Sundays, I always want to go do something after temple, but then I'm just way too tired. I just go home and rest every Saturday and Sunday. And then Mondays, a lot of time I'm tired too.
In all fairness, you're tired every day, though, not just going to the temple.
No. There's a lot of days I wake up really energized. Yeah. But after temple, I'm really tired mostly.
Before going to the temple, were you tired? You blaming us now for your...
Well, today I was a little tired, but that's okay.
Before coming to the temple?
Yeah.
But typically on the weekend, when you come to the temple, when you go to the temple, you're tired already, weren't you?
It's different every day.
Think back. But most of the time you're tired anyway. Yes?
It's different every day. Some days I'm really ready. Some days I'm a little more slower and tired.
So what do we do now? Sit longer. Yes, number 8.
Oh, Master, I don't believe the tiredness I experience is that cumulative. The two longest sits I've ever accomplished, one was 4 hours and one was 6 hours.
Wow. Oh. Anything over 5, you got my attention.
And the feeling of tiredness was no greater with those lengthy sits. And it seems like it's, at least I guess I'm thankful that it's a fast recuperative time. And an hour a day.
Especially at your this stage of your life, we tend to recover a lot longer. It takes us longer to recover, yes?
Well, yes. That part of it is a workload. The workload of a 40-year-old man compared to the workload of a 74-year-old man.
You're 74 now?
Yes.
My darn it, I could swear you're a lot younger than that.
Well, hopefully John helps me.
Wow, 74. Woo. You know, I look at people who are like in the 60s, they look a lot older than you. Okay, it's just between us. Okay. Yes, Q&A.
A Di Đà Phật. Dạ thưa thầy, theo kinh nghiệm cá nhân của con thì hàng ngày ở nhà đó con công phu và con ngồi kiết già cũng rất là thường xuyên, đều đặn. Nhưng mà khi mỗi cuối tuần đi đến chùa đó thì con thấy tâm của con nó hoan hỷ hơn và dễ nhập định hơn. Ở nhà thì thỉnh thoảng cũng có nhập định nhưng mà nó ít ỏi và cái thời gian nhập định nó cũng ngắn. Còn vào chùa thì dễ nhập định và cái thời gian nhập định nó dài hơn. A Di Đà Phật.
Master, so I do sit in full lotus very regular at home every day, but every time I go to the temple, I feel happier, and I feel that it's easier for me to enter samadhi. At home, I still can enter samadhi, but it's less frequent, and the length is less than compared to when I'm at the temple.
Okay, very good. In her case here, she retired, so she has a lot more time than most of us to meditate. Okay, so that's why she can tell the difference. So her mind is a lot more settled. She's not as worked up as we are with our daily lives. You know, so with that state of mind, she is a lot more sensitive than most of us. So she could tell the difference between her meditation at home versus her meditation at the temple. And that's a fact. It's hard for us to tell you, it's hard for you to notice it because you're not as sensitive as she is. But it's a fact. When you come to the temple and you meditate with people who are especially much higher level than you, you gain a lot of benefits. Okay, so this is why I can't stress enough that if you really are serious about your spiritual practice, you need to come to the temple regularly. There's a lot more good than we care to tell you. Okay, you are getting so much help. It's ridiculous. We should be charging you for this. Now we have a track record. We should start charging you so that we can do an IPO for the temple. Initial public offering. That's how you get rich and retire. Okay. All right. So going back to the problem. Again, I appreciate you all sharing it. This is what this is about. We are sharing our experiences so that our Chan knowledge gets richer and more rewarding. We all are learning. I'm learning from you as well. Okay, there is no difference not much difference between you and me. Every day, every time I do this with you, I'm learning a lot as well. Okay, so it's a real pleasure to be able to do that. So it's important for all of us to share our experiences so that we can encourage each other and reassure each other. We are walking down the right path. Okay, so this particular case here, of course, remember each individual is different. I usually don't give you too much information out of fear that you become, number one, you become arrogant and self-satisfied. You think you're special. Let me assure you, none of you is that special in my eyes. Okay, none of you is that good enough. Okay, yet. Every one of you is a work in progress. So no need to be feel satisfied and content and complacent. There's still so much room for you to improve. Trust me. Okay, all of you. I'm not leaving any of you out. Okay, none of you has reached your potential yet, and I only have 20 years left. That's it. The next 20 years, this is your last chance. After me, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to get the same kind of help that you're getting right now. All right. So each case is different. Yes, number 5, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Master, every time I sit in meditation, I would find myself drifting back and forth between sleeping and being awake. My head throbs with slight pain. Should I try to stay awake, or is this sleeping samadhi? This is from Christopher.
From where?
Christopher.
Oh, okay. One thing at a time. Let me finish the first question and go to the second question. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you have similar experiences as well. Okay, let's finish the first question. First question is, in this case here, I need to caution you that each case is different. Okay, this is why we hear. We hear because we have a wealth of experiences that's based on individual cases. It's not documented in any books. Okay, it's also from the teaching experiences. Okay, so I usually don't give out answers in blanket answers because for 2 reasons. Number one, don't want to make you complacent and self-satisfied that you're something special. You're not. Okay. Let me get this way. None of you is that special. None of you is meeting my standards. Okay? That's just the way it is. I'm not impressed. What else? How else can I say it in a more polite fashion? Well, let me work on that. But it's nothing to feel satisfied about. I need to stress that with you, okay? You have so much more you can achieve. Don't be so satisfied so soon. What you got so far is like a grain of sand in our world of Chan. Well, some of you got maybe a piece of marble. Okay, that's it. There's so much more. It's just so fascinating. Okay, so I'm concerned that you become self-satisfied. Some of you are already self-satisfied, thinking you're so cool and you achieve so much. Ain't nothing yet. Okay? Get that straight. Yeah, you're nothing. You achieved nothing. You got really nothing at all to be satisfied. There's so much more. So that's number one. Number two is that there are some teachers out there, okay, who only read books and pleasurize. Okay, what I call pleasurism in Chan is the fact that you read a book and you use those book knowledge to give answers to people. Okay, that's nonsense. That's pleasurism. In Chan, when you teach Chan, it has become from your experience, from real experiences, real knowledge, because there's no such a thing as a book answer that applies to everyone. That's why we cannot possibly document all the individual cases when you practice Chan. Okay, whatever you read in the books is only a grain of sand in the Chan knowledge. Okay, and yet there are teachers out there. I can think of many of Master YongHua's disciples who don't practice enough, who don't understand enough. Okay, I know it's none of my business, but it's Master YongHua's business to remind them of that. They're not my disciples and none of my business, okay? But he should have reminded them what they got, what they know is nothing. It's zilch, okay? And what they do is they read these books and they try to give you answers from these books. It's nonsense. That's why when I tell you, I give you individual cases. This particular lady here, okay, in her case, I would tell you it's a good thing. Okay, she's experiencing that along the line of Andres and the silver-haired person here. Okay, so it's a good thing. She has nothing to worry about. Continue, and it's part of what the silver-haired gentleman said. It's part of recovery. Okay, you run a marathon, you're going to get tired. You need time to recover. You recover. Next time, you will perform a little bit better, and next time a little bit better, a little better, a little bit better. Okay, unlike the marathon where you hit your physical limitations. In Chan meditation, you will not at all. You will transcend your physical limitations. That's the difference. Okay, so it's a good thing. Continue is nothing to worry about. Okay, but it's always a good thing to check with us, and we thank you for the question. This is, again, it helps me understand more because I look at her case, say, oh, in this case here, it's a good thing. Okay? So it enriches our database and my own personal knowledge on how to teach Chan as well. All right? So no worries, continue, and she's doing great. You don't know how difficult it is to be able to sit for 2 hours. Okay? It's very difficult. The majority of the monks, 80% of the monks do not sit for 2 hours, let alone full lotus. Sitting in full lotus 2 hours is very uncommon. It's very unusual for a person, okay, for anyone. So it's quite a significant achievement. Keep it up and have no worries. Okay, second question. This person here drifts in, drifts out from between sleep and wakefulness. Okay, what is it? It's a normal thing. When you're tired, sometimes that's what happens to you. When you're tired, it's a good thing that you meditate. Okay, when you're tired, I recommend all of you to meditate, okay, and let it happen naturally. When you meditate, you're extremely tired, you drift into sleep naturally, okay, and then you wake up, and then you continue to meditate, okay? Or when you have some real skills, when you're tired, you meditate, you recover very quickly without falling asleep. So first you fall asleep, okay, and sometimes you fall asleep, sometimes you get into samadhi and so forth. Your skills are not mature yet, okay, so that's what's going to happen. But eventually, when you're tired, you can enter samadhi and you won't fall asleep at all, and you recover even faster. All right? So, no worries. Number 5.
This is from Daniel from San Jose. Has there been any enlightened female masters in Buddhist Chinese history?
Enlightened masters in what?
Female masters in Buddhist Chinese history. Enlightened female masters.
Oh, there's so many of them. You think that the Buddhist patriarchs only teach monks? They like you to believe that. It seems to me. But actually, the Chinese patriarchs are very good in terms of giving equal opportunity to both men and women. Many of the Chinese nuns were enlightened. Just like when, as evidenced by my late Chinese teacher, when he brought that Chan Dharma to the U.S. and received disciples here in the U.S. and trained them, okay? It turns out that there were more nuns, his disciples who are enlightened than monk disciples who are enlightened. It's only because there were more nuns. Women are wiser than men in that respect. He has more nuns than monks. Okay, so absolutely, there are plenty of nuns who are enlightened. In general, nowadays, because of the higher proportions of nuns to monks, we have fewer monks and nuns. That's a fact. That's a way of life. Okay, that's the way it is for our future, the future of Buddhism. So it's not surprising at all that more nuns are enlightened than more monks. That's the way it is. That's the way it is for the rest of the time until Chan disappears. Okay. Yes, 5.
This is from Cordelia. Master, can you send Venerable Shen Shun to go forth to help us weakling for long sit? Thank you, Master.
Oh no, I shouldn't have mentioned any names, did I? Now we have to dissect her and cut her up in a few pieces. The people here say, no, we want her here. And people out there say, oh, can we request that she comes? Okay. All right, we have to consider that request, I guess. All right, we take that into consideration under advisement, as they say it. All right, anyone else? Any other questions? Yes, 8.
Master, I have a follow-up on the feminine use or alternative for master. It seems that here on this website titled Brainly, it states that masters in any subject remains the same even if the holder of the degree is female. So some of the titles remain the same, but here it is about the ownership of something, then the title often is used mistress. So I suppose master, once again keeping with the times, could clearly be appropriate? Yes.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Now we have we resolve that issue. So we call everyone master. But how can people tell that it's a he versus a she? Now you have a new problem. You solve one problem and you create a new can of worms. Yes, 8.
Once again, keeping with the current times, the gender, I guess,
Gender
decision
neutral.
is sort of becoming in the background now.
And just wait until we have binary people?
Yes.
Or and so forth. We're going to have a heck of a time to come up with more names.
I don't know.
More titles.
Pronouns were not designed for that, so I don't know how we'll refer. If I was one, I don't know if I would want people to refer to me as an it. Go get it. Where's it at?
Well, we both in the same boat, but luckily we're going to be put to the pastures very soon so that we don't have to face this issue. It leads to my disciples to deal with this type of challenges, if you will. Okay? For me, master is good enough for now. Okay? Thank you. Yes, wait for number 6 here. Did you have a comment, number 6?
Yeah, behind you it says the reality of things, and it says feeling. This week I was listening to Mr. Nagarjuna. He has
Nagarjuna.
I think it's Nagarjuna. I think that's how you say it. Nagarjuna. I think.
Okay, thank you. I stand corrected.
Yeah, and he was. I was listening on YouTube to this thing he wrote called Letter to a Friend, and he was saying to meditate on compassion and kindness and good things like that. But technically, wouldn't that be a feeling? The feeling of compassion, the feeling of kindness?
No, it's quite different. Okay? What he's talking about, they teach, these people teach about, you contemplate on compassion, you contemplate on kindness, okay? When you meditate, it's not the same as a feeling of compassion, a feeling of kindness. It's just different things, all right? So, but in general, I don't like those practices, so don't practice those things, please. It's too hinayana for me. Okay. Kindness and compassion are not meant for you to meditate. Kindness and compassion is for you to live. Apply during your daily lives, not for you to meditate. It's not good use of your meditation time, in my humble opinion. Okay, I would not teach it. I disagree with. How do you say it again? That dude? Nagarjuna. He's a hot shot, you know that. But he's Indian, so he stays in India. Yes, number 5.
This is from Cordelia. I read mantra. Cordelia.
Yes, I'm the only one, she says, who pronounces her name right because of my Francais background.
I read mantra when I meditate, and a lot of time I fell asleep. Am I creating offenses because I don't know where I am with my mantra when I wake up? Thank you, Master.
No, you're not. Absolutely not. You overwork, and that's why you fall asleep. So when you recite, again, it goes back to the model I told you, that when you're tired, meditate and let yourself fall asleep. Do not feel guilty. But I don't want you to meditate and look forward to falling asleep. There's a slight difference there. So when you meditate, when you're tired, you meditate. This is a trick. May I tell you? Yeah. Now that French person there asked, okay, when you're tired and you meditate, the trick here is, are you paying attention? No, you don't want to know this, do you? You don't have that problem. You're never tired when you meditate, right? When you're tired, you meditate. I'm going to give it to you anyway. When you're tired, okay, and you, instead of resting, you meditate, okay? And what you do here, the trick here, okay, is do not do kindness, compassion meditation, okay? That's the wrong time to do that. Oh my God, can you see that? Can you see like when you're tired, so, I'm meditating about kindness and compassion. When your body is so tired, it just doesn't work, okay? What you do is that when you're tired, okay, and you're tired, at times it's okay to lie down and rest and so forth. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? However, if you have something important, you have pressure, you have problems, okay, you are worried about, okay, you need to solve, okay? I would highly recommend, okay, again, normally get some rest, it's okay, nothing wrong, okay? However, if you're under pressure and so forth, you should meditate, okay? Because when you meditate, it's an opportune time for you to fight the sleepiness. Keep fighting, and you see miracles going to happen. Okay? That's a tip that you will not find in books. This comes from our Chan Chi experiences. Okay? Because in our Chan Chis will be start, in December, a couple of months, okay, already. The way we do it is by design. We put you in this all-day training process where you become tired, okay? And most people would sneak back to the room and rest. And I did that. I'm guilty. I hated it when I was at my master's temple, okay? The principle being that if you force me to do something, I will do it grudgingly, and I will find a way to sneak out, okay? But when I'm not forced, I will try my best, okay? Anyway, so I would sneak out, and you sneak out, and then there's a point in time where I had to stick to this with the schedule. Otherwise, my students would think the less of me. So that I realized the fighting there is very, very important. Okay? So fight, don't rest, and you see, you'll be so happy. Okay? That's a small tip for you. Yes, number 6.
Yeah, this week, I think it was on Tuesday, I was really tired again, and I sat down and meditated, and I think it was like for an hour, and then like my head hurt, and I was just really tired. And then when I got up from the meditation, I was still really tired, and then I just like fell asleep for a few hours, I think. But after I meditated, I didn't really feel any better as far as I could tell. Maybe a little bit, but I still, my head still hurt, and I was still really,
How long
tired.
do you meditate? 10 minutes?
I think it was an hour.
Try 2 hours next time. Okay? You stop too soon. Yes, number 5.
Emily wants to make a comment. My son tells me that in high school, kids would ask, "What's your pronouns?" He, she, her, to tell what that person's current state is and sex preference.
Okay? So it's a pronoun. Okay? So complicated. So, kids. Yeah, son of a gun. You learn something new every day. All right, thank you. Okay, so what is the son's pronoun again? It? Yes.
This is from Daniel. Master, do if there is time, could you ask Master if he knows of any famous enlightened nuns in Chinese history?
Let me see. There's one, but I don't know her name. I forgot her name. There's one enlightened nun, actually a few, and this particular nun of interest to me was that she became enlightened, and then the other Chinese monk was derisive of her, made fun of her. He said, "You are a nun, how, what's this thing about you being enlightened, you receiving disciples?" And so she endured a lot of derision from her male colleagues, and so she never said much. She never seemed to be bothered by that. And one day, one of the Chan monk who practiced under a very, very famous Chan master got disenchanted. And so he said, "I've been here for too long. I am not getting any closer to getting enlightened." So he quit. So he went and looked for another teacher. And this is perfectly legal, by the way, in a Chan world. You're entitled to go look for teachers. Nothing wrong with that, okay? And especially it's a reminder when you're not making progress, then you should be looking for another teacher. The Chan practice is supposed to make you improve. So anyway, so he went around, looked for a lot of teachers. And finally, he went and interviewed a lot of teachers, because remember, his Shifu is a very, very, very famous Chan master. So he said, "Well, I learned so much, and I have, I'm a designer label, So what have you got to offer?" So he interviewed a lot of other Chan masters, and she said, and he heard of this female Chan master, okay, and so he said, "What the heck? Never heard of an enlightened Chan master who's female. So let's go talk to her." So we went and talked to her, and don't remember the exact conversation, but he walked out very impressed. So he said, "Okay, she's it." So he chose her. He practiced under her, and then he became enlightened. So she turns out to be a better teacher, Chan teacher, for him than the other famous Chan master. So that's what caught my attention. But you go back to the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, you will see the Sixth Patriarch mentioning some of the stories, like in one of the chapters, maybe chapter 7 or 8 or 6, he mentioned that how he gave a certain teaching to something like 15 of his disciples in a particular chapter, and a few of them were nuns. Okay, so they all became enlightened. In particular, by the time he left, his disciples asked, Fa Hai is a Chinese Chan monk who's also enlightened, who transcribed the Sixth Patriarch Sutra. He asked him, Fa Hai asked Venerable Hui Neng, he said, who among your disciples attained the Dharma? And Sixth Patriarch named 3 people, 2 monks and 1 nun. I don't remember exactly their names, okay, but because I'm not impressed. He said, one of them got my flesh, one of them got my bones, one of them got my marrow, or something like that. So one of the 3 was a nun. So you can tell that nun's level is pretty high. Okay. So in the history of Chinese Buddhism, there are plenty of well-known nuns who are very accomplished, whose attainment are very, very high, very significant. Okay? But for some reason, there's really no nun who stood out at the same way as the great patriarchs. Okay? Okay, and that's something I don't understand. Yes, 5.
Emily responded to Master's comment about Kyle. She said he's straight guys with all his parts, something like he, his, him.
Okay, thank you. Now we know. For the record, it's a he and him and plenty of straight parts. Okay, good to know. All right, anyone else? Okay, that's a good point. I need to ponder about why is that the female nuns, enlightened nuns, never stood out the way that the Chan monks stood out in China or in India for that matter. Okay, I don't understand that. Okay, I can tell you, I can assure you, I believe that as far as the great teachers are concerned, they don't care whether you're a man or woman or a child for that matter. For example, one of the enlightened, very highly enlightened person is a youth called Good Wealth. That's documented in the Avatamsaka Sutra. He's a pretty young boy, and he became enlightened, and he became a Buddha as well. Okay, so it tells you that there's no limitations at all, by age, by gender, by social status, by wealth, by intelligence, and so forth. There's no discrimination at all in Chan at all. So you, but don't know why there weren't really, really famous female Chan masters. That I don't understand. Okay, and I hope that maybe in the future here in the U.S. you have some female Chan masters. Okay, who's really female, who's not an it or whatever. Okay, let's have that first, and then you can have the it and so forth later. Okay. Yes, number 6.
I think it's I think they say they don't say it, so they, them.
They, them, not it?
I've never heard someone be called it.
Because you hang around the wrong people, that's all. You know, the silver-haired gentleman, he says he heard it himself. Which bar you hang out at? It's just like, you know, it's just like one thing that also I was curious about is that in the West, the Cowboys era, you go into a bar, speaking of bars, okay, you have spittoons, okay, it's so cool, spittoons. You know what spittoons are? You know, and these people are so accurate. I'm fascinated by that. They spit and it would land on the spittoon itself. Okay, it's so fascinating. Excuse me, I'm just got distracted. But what interests me about these bars is that you go in there, you don't have a real bar unless you have this metal thing that you can put your foot on. You know what I'm talking about? You're a cowboy, you know. You go in there. Hi, howdy, ma'am. Can I have some a bit of whiskey? Okay, and you get the whiskey and you put your foot on the thing. Okay, so I don't know why we don't have those kind of bars anymore. Okay, to me, it's not a real bar if you don't have that anymore. Because I'm so used to seeing this image of people drinking in a bar with their foot on that's thing and spitting into spittoons. Never mind. Okay. Yes, number 5.
This is from Daniel. Isn't there a story of a woman or a nun who became a Buddha because a co-cultivator said a woman's body could not become a Buddha, and she said, just watch, and boom?
Yeah, and that's a xiaolong. Okay, that's a small, that's the little dragon girl. Okay, that's in the Dharma Flower Sutra. Yes, there's plenty of such instances. Okay, really, there's no restriction on your attainments. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be whoever. You could be female, you could be male, you could be half and half, you could be, 3/4 and a quarter, and so forth. It doesn't matter at all to the teachers. Okay, no discrimination whatsoever at all. Okay. All right. Time is almost up. I have 7 more minutes. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain them. If not, we can stop. Okay. All right. Since it's all and quiet here in the Western Front, where all the men are silent, we can stop here today. And thank you all. We invite you to go have lunch with us.